Hi everyone, welcome to our recitation 3. In this recitation, I will give you some introductions to HTML. HTML can be seen as a programming language for web application development. You can use HTML to build up a web page by yourself. Um, so from this recitation, I will talk about the HTML and the web page application development systematically. If you have any questions related to the course and the assignments, welcome you to join my office hour, which is on Tuesday from 10 to 11 a.m. And you can come to my WebEx classroom. So let's start. I think for last Sunday, I have posted an announcement which is about some instructions for installation and configuration of Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is a very important software for developing some web pages. It is a software for programming with HTML language. So you need to download and install this software on your laptop. And from this recitation to the end of this semester, we will use Visual Studio Code as our development software for HTML file. And the first step is to download and install VS Code. It's quite easy. You can just use Google to search for VS Code download and click the first link. Then you need to choose your installer according to the operating system you are using. Some of you are using Windows and some others are using macOS. So you need to choose your installer and then click the link to download your installer and then follow the instructions to install this software. I think most of you has known how to install a software on your laptop, so I will skip this process. Since you have already installed the Visual Studio Code, and then you need to open this software, and the front page is like this. The next step, we need to do some configuration of this software. The first step is to install some extensions. So on the left toolbar, you will see this icon, and this tool is called extensions. You can just click this item, or you can just press Ctrl plus Shift plus X. So now we have getting to our extensions library, and we can just search the extensions we may use. I highly recommend that you can install Live Server. Because I have already installed this extension. If you have not yet installed this one, it will present your green button with the text of install. You can just click this and the installation will start automatically. And also you can just install HTML icons. Which is called HTML snippets. It will give you some text, including HTML5 snippets. Okay. This is the second step for installing and configuring VS Code. And the third step is to just configure Emmet. Emmet is a tool for helping you program quickly. It will just add some necessary code for your web application. Later, I will show you how to use Emmet. For configuration of Emmet, you need to click the item in the left bottom of this page, this icon, which is called Manage. You can just click Manage and then click Settings. And you can use the search tool to search for the image. You need to type EMMET, and then you need to go down. Right here, there is a configuration for trigger expansions on tab. You need to check this, okay? You need to sure that there is a you need to ensure that you have checked this choice, this configuration, which means that when this configuration is enabled, image abbreviations are expanded when pressing tab. It will help you program HTML file, okay? And the fourth step for starting with Visual Studio Code is to open a folder as your workspace. So now we can just click Explorer to get back to our File Explorer right here, this item or button. Click this one. And then you can see a button which is called Open Folder. You can just click this button and choose any folder you want as your working space. For me, I will always create a folder which is called like CS170 on my desktop, and then choose this folder as my workspace. So right now, this is the folder which is CS170 for 2020, and I will choose this folder as my workspace. You need to be very careful about this process. Once you have already choose a folder as your workspace, the toolbar on the bottom of this page will get into the blue color rather than the purple color. So only if you see this toolbar presenting the blue color, you can start with your programming. If not, you cannot start. You need to get back to the Explorer and open a folder as your workspace. So now I think we have already done the installation configuration of this software for programming HTML file. And also, there are a lot of tools, some old tools, which can help you programming HTML. But I will not recommend these files, these softwares. They are really inconvenient to use, like Notepad++, Bracket, Text Wrangler, and Atom. These four tools are not so good. Okay, you can just use Visual Studio Code. So now, the next part I will talk about some basic HTML structure. But before that, I will just help lead you to start your first HTML file, and you can just name it as hello world. So it's quite easy to do this. So now, getting back to our working space, right here, you need to get back to the Explorer, and you can see on your folder, my folder is CS170 for 2020, and on the right, you can see the first icon, the first button is called New File. I will click this one, and I will name it as hello world.html. You need to be very careful about the extension name after the file name. You need to put the extension name as HTML. Otherwise, your file cannot be presenting correctly. So now press enter, and we will create a new file. So if you have already configured the image extension, now it will give you some magic power to program an HTML file. So you can just type an exclamation, and then you just need to press tab. And now the VS Code will just add the necessary code for a basic HTML file automatically. So the basic HTML file including 3 tags. The first tag is HTML, the second tag is head, and the third tag is body. So, and also the head tag and body tag will be contained within the HTML tag. So this is a basic structure of a HTML file. So this is your hello world HTML. You can just program this file within 1 second. You can just type exclamation and then press tab. The software will just add the necessary code automatically. And I will talk about the definition of a tag. HTML tags are the hidden keywords within a web page that define how your web browser must format and display the content. And a very important thing is that an HTML file is not just one tag, it's a pair of tags, which is like you need to first we have a start of this tag HTML, and also we have the end of HTML. Only a text has appeared, then the browser can differentiate this tag correctly. So you need to remember that the start of a tag has no slash, and the end of the tag has a slash. You need to use the tag with a pair, okay? But actually, using Visual Studio Code, you don't need to remember this. The Emmet extension will just add the code automatically, which is quite easy. For example, if we want to add a new tag, which is called body, and then the extensions will present the choice for this tag, and then you can just click enter, or you can just click this item, which is body tag, and or you can just press enter, or you can just press tab. The 3 choices are both fine, and then it will just add the end tag for the body tag automatically. And also I have to remind you that for one HTML file, you can only have just one HTML tag, one head tag, and one body tag. Okay, so so the HTML tag is just is just to define the pattern, the format of this file, and the head will contain all the metadata, all the formats of this web page, and the body will contain the contents of this web page, like what you want to present to the audience of this web page, like the texture data or some numerical data, will be concluded with will be contained within the body tag. Okay, so this is the functions of the 3 different tags, and you need to remember and be very careful that one HTML file can only have one HTML tag, one head tag, and one body tag. Okay. It's very hard to teach you all the definitions and usage of tags within just one recitation. And if you want to be a very good programmer, you need to learn to search for the official documentation for the definitions and the usage of additional tags, like title, like meta, like H1 to H6, like P representing paragraph, like A representing for hyperlink, like IMG representing for image tag. So how you can get the official documentation which contains the usage and definition of these additional tags? The webpage is 3w.w3schools.com. W3C is a worldwide organization for building up the standards for web application development. So you can just go to this webpage and you can get the official documentation for HTML programming language. This is the webpage of w3schools.com. On the left, you can see HTML and CSS. Within this, we can just choose Run HTML, and then we will come the webpage for HTML tutorial. And just going down, we can see HTML references, and the first choice is HTML tag list. And we just click this and get into the tag lists for HTML. So now you can see all the tag lists for HTML. First there is the tag for defining a command. A command is that if you add a command to your HTML file, it will help the readers for this file to understand your programming code better, but it will not do any functional things. Okay, and A, this tag representing for a hyperlink. If you click this tag, you can go into some usage of this tag, like for HTML tag. The example presents how you can create a link for your web page. You can just use a href equal to some web page URLs, and this is a tag. This is a text for this URL. And also you can just click try it yourself, and the W3C will give you some virtual online runtime, and you can just click run, and on the right it will present the web page you will see. So right now it's clear that we have already created a hyperlink. The hyperlink text is visit w3schools.com, and the href the URL is https w3.w3schools.com. So you can just add it by yourself, like you can just change it to hello world and just click run, and the web page will be changed to hello world. Okay. You can use this online runtime to just try your try to learn these tags, and also getting back to the tag list. If you find that there is some tags you are not familiar with, you can also use the search tool to help you find the tag you are not familiar with. Like I can search title, and it will show the searching result. The title tag defines the title for the document. Okay, so you need to be very familiar with this w3schools.com. It will become your best friend in the next journey for developing your web pages. Okay. I will just talk about these additional tags briefly. The title defines the title of the web page. The meta will just define some metadata, the meta format for the web page. H1 to H6 means the headings for the text. We have 6 level headings. The H1 representing for heading first level has the largest size, and H6 has the smallest size. P representing for paragraph. Paragraph is the we'll just add some text to your web page. A represents for H reference. IMG represents for image. If you want to insert an image to your web page, you need to use IMG tag. Okay. So the next step, we need to talk about the web console. Actually, all their browsers, all the normal browsers like Microsoft Edge, Google Chrome, and Firefox have the web consoles. We will take the Google Chrome as an example to introduce web console. So how to open the web console? You can just go into settings, to more tools, to developer tools. I just introduced this tool to you. Later we will use this web console to just figure out what is wrong or is there any bugs within your HTML code. Okay, I will show you this process. You just click here. This is the customize and control for Google Chrome, and just going to more tools and click developer tools. So now there are a lot of tools you can use for your web page. You can just click console. So now I think you are not familiar with these data or definitions, but later we will talk about this. Okay, I just introduced this tool right now. This is web console. So now I think I have already talked about enough about the about some tools you may use for the later programming journey. I think you can now wait to start your first HTML file. You can so let's do the first hello world HTML file. So I think you have already have the basic structure for your HTML file. If you just forget what I have said before, you can just type exclamation and just press tab, and the VS Code will add all the necessary structure code automatically. So now what we want to do is just add a heading to your web page. The heading will have some text. For example, for your first web page, I will just use hello world CS170. Okay, so now you need to follow my steps. I have already said before, if you want to add your content to your web page, you can just type some text within the body tag. Okay, so the body tag is a place for putting your content for the web page. So start from line 9. I will zoom this view. So for line 9, what you need to insert is that first you need to just click, you need to just type H1 and then press tab. Okay, press tab, and then the VS Code just add the H1 tag automatically, and it add a pair of tags which has a start of H1 and an end of H1, and you can just click enter to help you just see the code very clearly. And right now is the text for your code. Within our first web page, we want to see a text, just a line for hello world. CS170. So now I think we have already finished the coding for our hello world web page. And also, if you want to change the title of your first web page, you can just change it to your name. Like for me, the title is Wang. And now we have now saved this HTML file. You can just press Ctrl+S to save the file. And you can see that for that we can see a circle right here, or we can see a point right here. Now it changed to a crossing. So now I think we have already finished the coding part. Now we want to run this file and we want to see our first web page. If you have already installed the extension which is called Live Server, and on the right bottom of the page, you can see a button which is called Go Live. And the definitions for Go Live is to click this button and then you can run the live server. So now we can just try this. And if you click the Go Live button, the computer will just open this web page using your default browser. I think for Windows users, the default browser maybe Microsoft Edge or Google Chrome, and for macOS users, the default browser maybe Safari. Okay, so you can just click Live and run this web page. Okay, so we have built up our first web page. The web page has just one line. The text is hello world CS170. So why the extension is called live server? Because if you go back to your code, if you change your text, like we can just delete CS170 and then we press Ctrl+S, we save this file, and then going back to our web page, we can see our web page has changed to just one line of text, hello world. So why we call this live server? Okay, so I think maybe I'm not sure whether you are excited about this process because you have just built up your first web page using the Visual Studio and with your code you have write. You can just write some random text or some text you want and you can try, like welcome to our Recitation 3. And you save this file and go back, the web page has been changed. So this is just a simple example for a web page. Okay. So the last part of this recitation is about the W3C validator. So right now we have just talked about some basic web pages, some basic code for web pages. It's not so easy to make some bugs or make some mistakes on the code. But later, if you wants to build up a very difficult or very complex web page, you can not avoid the bugs, the mistakes you may made. So you need a validator to test whether your web page code is correct or not. So you can use the W3C validator for validate the correctness of your code. On the webpage, the link for W3C validator is on validator.w3.organization. You can just open this webpage. So now we can choose validate by direct input, and then we need to copy all our code and get back. We need to paste our code to the box, and we just click check. Wait for some seconds. Now the validator presents the result. If you can see the blue text, the green text with document checking completed, no errors or warnings to show, which means that your code is correct, and it's a good news. So you need to be very familiar with this W3C validator. It will become another good friend for programming HTML file. I think now we have already covered the all the contents for this recitation. At the end of this recitation, I would like to talk about some suggestions for your later programming experience. First is that talk is cheap, show me the code. If you want to improve your programming ability, the only thing you need to do is just write as many lines of code as you can. So do not just talk or just see some teaching videos. You need to just write the code by yourself. Next, focus on the language, but not too restricted to it. For this course, I will just teach you HTML for building up a web page, but HTML is not the only programming language. If you are interested in building up some softwares or some other telephone or smartphones applications, you can just learn Java or Python or some other languages. No bad tools, just bad users. If you sometimes you may find that your runtime, your software, your browser will not present the result you want. Do not blame them. Just blame yourself. It's the mistake you made. It's not the mistake of the process, the tools, the softwares. Using the up-to-date tools, which means that you need to use VS Code rather than Notepad++. Take fully advantage of online open source resources and Stack Overflow. So if you want to learn HTML programming language, the W3C Schools is the best online open source resources for the learning. So you need to be very familiar with this and you need to take fully advantage of them. Next, the official documentation is always your best friend. So for me, during my learning of programming languages, I will always check the official documentation first if I have any questions related to the programming. So because the recitation is very short, just 40 minutes, we cannot cover all the text, all the bugs, all the functions that we may use for building up a web page. So you need to be very familiar with the way to find the official documentation for HTML, and you can use the official documentation to search for the text, the definition and the usage of the text by yourself. So I think that's all for this recitation. And for the attendance recording part, the attendance recording question for recitation 3 is that which department are your TA, which Wang from? So the answer to this question is computer science department. Let me repeat again. Which department are your TA from? The answer to the question is computer science department. So you also need to just complete the Google form and submit it to me, and I will just take the attendance record for you according to the Google form you submitted. So that's all for this recitation. Thank you. Bye.